Welcome back to Fight Capital Prospect Profiles, where we uncover the passion, journey, and ambition of combat sports rising stars. Today, I'm joined by Ragnar Stegall, who's fighting at Solid as a Rock May 11th in Anchorage, Alaska on millions.co. Thanks for joining me today, Ragnar. How are you and where are you joining from?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm joining you from Wasilla, Alaska, and good morning to you as well, my brother.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, you win the award for the most badass name of anyone I've done for these prospect profiles. I can tell that you embody that name as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about that defining moment or what put you down this path to make you realize that you wanted to be a combat sports athlete?
And honestly, I think I've known my whole life. It's been the one constant my whole life. I've been a fighter my whole life in one way or another. I was forced to fight for part of it as part of survival in my younger years, and that just kind of evolved into martial arts, science, and the discipline. So yeah, I've always been competitive. I like to push myself. I love the grind. I love the process. So I don't know. It's who I am. It's what I've always done. It's what I always love, and now I'm just kind of really chasing it with all of my heart right now.
Yeah, I can see that. I got to check out your Instagram. I can tell that you're also about the mindset part of this sport, which I think is such an important part. We always look at the physical side, right? The physical is super important, but can you just talk a little bit about how you're mentally preparing for this fight and how you kind of overcome any of those moments of adversity that you come up in that training?
Yeah, so I mean this game I think is 90% mental, honestly. It's the physical side of things is easy as long as your mental game's strong. But for me, man, it's just like fight week. I focus very heavily on the mental, on the spiritual side of stuff. The physical work's already done. We put the hours in at the gym. We put the hours in on the mat. So overcoming adversity, man, I just try to just plow it down, man. I just try to just drive through it and accept no weakness from myself and just keep grinding and keep moving forward. And that's always been my strategy is just kind of zero tolerance on myself. I'm definitely my hardest critic, and I just push myself as hard as I can, man, and everything else falls into place or it doesn't, and that's part of the process too.
Well, I know that you also do physical training for coaching as well outside of your combat sports career. Can you share some of the insights into your training regimen and also maybe some of the philosophy behind your prep here?
Yeah, so I'm a strength and conditioning coach, certified nutritionist, personal trainer. I mostly work with athletes on the strength and conditioning side of things, which is definitely my niche, definitely what I enjoy, and it definitely, I believe, gives me an edge and translates really well over into fighting, obviously. My training philosophies are pretty simple. I want to help athletes tap into the best version of themselves. So we work on everything from increasing their VO2 max, building strength, building endurance, building power, and then a lot of sport specific movements, which is basically the same strength and conditioning regimen I use on myself.
Hmm. Well, just diving into that a little more, are there any other than yourself and all the prep you do around that? Are there any fighters or individuals in your life who've inspired you on this path?
Man, there's so many, but honestly, the biggest one, and still to this day, I think is Iron Mike. Just the unrelenting brutality of that dude, and just the power and the grind and the internal turmoil and the story behind him. I don't know. I've always identified with him and been super drawn to him, both stylistically and personally.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had an interview earlier today where I was interviewing a striking and mental coach, and she kept dropping Custe Amato lines on me. So I think that's within the same vein there. I mean, you're off to a pretty amazing start in your career here. How do you want to be remembered by fans, and what kind of legacy are you aiming to build here?
Man, honestly, I don't think I'm caught up on a lot of the stuff that a lot of people are caught up on. I want to be remembered as exciting, man. I want to go out there. I'm not caught on having a perfect record. I like to take hard fights. I like to take fights that I might lose. I like to push myself and test myself. And honestly, every time I step in the cage, I just want to be the best event of the night. I want to show, it doesn't matter where I'm on the card. I want to go in there and bang. I want to trade 4 ounces of leather and put it all on the line and take huge risks and get big knockouts and make an exciting show. People don't want to watch, you know, people get laid on for 3 rounds. They want to watch people go in there and trade, and they want to watch exciting fights. So if I was after any legacy, that's it. I want to be an exciting fighter, man. I want to be an explosion every time they watch me.
Well, as a strength conditioning coach, I'm just curious. Can you tell me a little bit about the role that coaching plays in your development as a combat sports athlete?
Man, I have the best coaches. I work really closely with up here, Jordan Contra, Joe Pitius. Those are my mostly like grappling and wrestling coaches, and then my striking coach is John Martin. Those three, I mean, I've came so far just working with them that it's crazy. I do a lot of work on my own, but I mean, I couldn't be where I'm at specifically without them. So, I mean, it's huge, man. It's huge. They constantly push me. I mean, we spend a lot of time just in shitty positions and horrible positions, just surviving and learning how to just overcome adversity. And so that way, when you run into it in a fight, it's like you don't panic. It's like, man, I've been here with dudes twice my weight that are brown belts, and it's like, and I can survive that. Like oh no, he's got my back. Oh well, we can get out of this. So I think that's the key, man. My coaches push me really, really hard, and they help me develop skills really, really well, and that's critical, man.
Yeah, it's always better to be doing the hard stuff before you get into the ring and really challenging yourself because that's I almost feel like the ring is the icing on the cake, right? It's a challenge that leads up to that that's going to allow you to perform and be at your best. When you look at like nutrition, recovery, I'm just curious, how does that play into your training regimen? Is there any insights that you have in the approach to staying kind of fight ready, particularly here in this last week leading up to the fight?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's everything. Honestly, the more I learn, the more I realize how important recovery and nutrition is. Like I said, I'm a certified nutritionist, so I kind of have a little bit of an edge in that. I don't have a lot of trouble making weight or anything. Man, I eat clean. I eat a lot of protein, make sure I'm getting my macros are right, and lots of greens, lots of fruits, vegetables, all the important stuff. I try to get 8 hours of sleep every night. And man, I take some good supplements to try to make sure my body is storing all the little micronutrients and stuff. And fight week is the hardest week of it all, not because of the fight. It's the fight, it's the weight cut, man. And it's the fight before the fight. That's the most miserable part for me. But yeah, so fight week, I'm kind of focused on that. I don't spend a lot of time like going out in the woods and just kind of being alone and getting my mind and the spiritual side of stuff right and just making sure my weight's right. The work's already been done, so that's kind of my strategy on fight week. I don't want to get injured 2 days before the fight, trying to go too hard. Got other stuff to worry about at this stage.
Getting your Yuri Prohaska out there boxing trees and being with one with the nature. It sounds like just curious.
Absolutely, man.
Outside of the fighting, what are your interests and activities looking like?
Oh man, I do a lot. I'm an avid outdoorsman, really. Anytime that I can, we have fantastic wilderness up here. So anytime I can get out on my own, I'll throw on the rucksack and hike off into the mountains and spend a couple days out there. Do a lot of running. I do a lot of weightlifting, motorcycle riding, just kind of all kinds of fun stuff, man.
Well, as we're coming up on spring, I'm sure that's the time to be doing it out there. I know how beautiful it gets. Everything starts. Not that it's not beautiful in the winter, but obviously different levels of activity that you can, or different types of activities that you can engage in out there.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
one of the last questions I always like asking people here as you're less than 5 days from walking down that aisle. What will you be walking out to, and what's the significance of that for you?
Oh, what we did I do a usually a Hyalung song every time, and they're like traditional Norse. They play traditional Norse war music, so it just gets me fired up. It gets that berserker energy going, which just gets me keyed up and ready to fight. So I like it. That's usually I walk out. I can't remember which one I picked this time, but I do a different Hyalung song every time I fight.
I just rewatched uh the whole series of Vikings from
Oh,
that,
nice.
not just the 6 seasons of that, but also the Netflix Valhalla ones. I don't know. I was all caught up on it. I've already watched them all too. I just like went on this crazy binge while I was typing and working on some written content and just listening to it in the background. There's nothing that gets me all hyped up as they're singing along, getting ready to Yank Shields heading out there. And I have a feeling that's what's looking like for you here on May 11th. Let everyone
Yes,
know
sir.
Where are you going to be fighting? When are you going to be fighting? Where can fans watch if they can't attend in person?
Yeah, so it's May 11th, which is next Saturday, Anchorage, Alaska, the Alaska Airlines Center. Get tickets. There's links on my Instagram page. And then if you're not in Anchorage or you're busy that night and you want to stream it, millions.com has the live stream. I'm going to have a link in my bio today so you can get that. You can use my promo code Stegall if you want to support me a little bit, but definitely tune in, watch it, trying to knock this dude out. It should be a fun fight. I think he's pretty tough, so I think it'll be a back and forth bloody war if we're lucky.
Hey, that's what the fans want to see. Ragnar,
Hell yeah.
apologies. I think I mispronounced your name again in the beginning, even though I asked Stegall. So
I'm used to
yeah,
it.
yeah. I want to. I don't want to call you Steven Seagal. It's like for some reason what I
No.
see. So I was like, we know we got an actual martial artist here on our hands. But wishing you a safe rest of camp, weight cut, and good luck this coming Saturday.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.